step back in time to the glittering courts of Elizabethan England, where the air crackled with courtroom drama, poetry, and intrigue. At the heart of this world was Queen Elizabeth I, a monarch whose every move was part pageant, part power play. She was the Virgin Queen, untouchable, ethereal, the living symbol of England itself. But what most history books won't tell you is just how much of that image rested not on grandeur, but on obsession, secrets, and habits that would make us shudder today. As we peel back the velvet curtains of her reign, let's dive into 5 extraordinary and honestly astonishing ways Queen Elizabeth I managed her personal hygiene. Not only do they reveal the quirks of her time, but they're a window into how far someone might go to preserve a legend, especially when that legend is, quite literally, skin deep. Imagine walking into the Queen's banquet hall. Every surface gleams, every laugh sparkles. But take a closer peek, and you'll find a darker story hidden behind the dazzling smiles, or rather, what's left of them. Elizabeth adored sugar, and in her day, it was more precious than gold. Whether it was candied violets or sugar-glazed marzipan, she devoured it with royal gusto, showing off England's wealth bite by decadent bite. But here's the jaw-dropping twist. In her quest for a brilliant smile, she cleaned her teeth with a mixture containing more sugar. Combine primitive dental knowledge with sweet tooth, and you've got a recipe for disaster. Ambassadors described her blackened, broken smile and foul breath. No surprise when her main toothpaste was a sugar paste. Even more bizarre, her dental disasters sparked a strange trend. Women at court blackened their own teeth to look like the Queen and show off their own literal taste for luxury. You might have heard the famous phrase attributed to Elizabeth, "I bathe once a month, whether I need it or not." And while historians still debate whether she actually said those words, her bathing habits were definitely minimalist. At this point, people believed water was dangerous. It messed with your humors, it brought disease, and it absolutely did not belong on your skin more than absolutely necessary. Elizabeth's version of clean meant frequently changing her linen undergarments and dabbing herself with rosewater or vinegar rinses prepared by her personal apothecaries. Baths took hours to prepare. Imagine 3 servants heating water just for you, and weren't an everyday occurrence. It wasn't about laziness, it was about survival and image. No water was going to mess with her carefully constructed appearance. Today we know Elizabeth for her iconic pale face, nearly ghostly against her fiery wigs. But her beauty regimen was pure poison, literally. Her weapon of choice was Venetian ceruse, a foundation made from white lead and vinegar. Sure, it covered up blemishes and scars, but it slowly destroyed her skin and seeped toxins into her body. Add in mercury-laden lip colors, and you get mood swings, trembling hands, and sores that never healed. No wonder she insisted that artists only paint her in the softest light, using stylized templates, rather than risk exposing her real, increasingly damaged face. By the end of her life, her makeup was not just a choice. It was a mask she could never take off, hiding the very real toll her beauty rituals had taken. Despite the luxury, Elizabeth's palaces had no running water or toilets. Her close stool, a fancy cushioned chair with a chamber pot beneath, was attended by none other than the groom of the stool, one of the highest-ranking officials at court. Yes, you heard that right. Tending to the queen's personal waste was a passport to power. Elsewhere in the palace, armies of servants toiled to haul chamber pots down corridors in secret, emptying them into cesspits that stank up the palace. Herbs and rushes tried and failed to disguise the smell, and when it got too much, the queen simply moved her whole household to escape the mess. Imagine being followed by the scent of rosemary. Part fashion, part air freshener. Fun fact, nobles would gift each other perfumed gloves, hoping to keep the stench at bay. If you've ever wondered why Elizabethan fashion looked so lavish, now you know. Sometimes more really was less. For Elizabeth, to be clean was to smell the part, not to be the part. She surrounded herself with scented gloves, handkerchiefs soaked in oils, and jewel-encrusted pomanders stuffed with herbs. These aromatic charms weren't just about masking odors. They sent a message. I am above the grime of the everyday world. Even her hair was more style than substance. Elaborate wigs, dusted in powder and set with egg whites or sugar water, covered thinning hair damaged by poison and age. If her legendary persona risked crumbling, she only doubled down, banning mirrors from her chambers, enforcing strict rules on how she was painted, and avoiding any reality checks that might shatter the illusion. As she grew older, Elizabeth became almost reclusive, guarding her image with an iron will. The queen who never let the mask drop, whose very existence was performance, knew that in a world where power flowed from perception, she could never afford to let reality peek through. Queen Elizabeth I didn't just rule a country, she ruled her own legend. Her hygiene practices weren't quirks, and they weren't ignorantly backward. They were part of a lifelong campaign to be seen as ageless, untouchable, larger than life. The world saw a virgin queen, but behind the perfume and powder was a woman fiercely determined never to show a crack, no matter what it cost. And that's the real lesson. In the golden age of England, cleanliness was never about soap and water. It was about survival and the power of keeping up appearances, no matter what the truth lurking underneath. If you found these royal secrets as wild as I do, be sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe for more untold stories, and drop your favorite bizarre hysterical fact in the comments. I read every one. And just imagine, what habits of today will seem just as strange 400 years from now? Stick around, history lovers. The next tale is just around the corner.